how many more police killings are we going to allow under Democratic administration? Because Kamala is the current vice president. And Kamala and Joe, the last time I checked, they live in D.C. So this literally happened right outside of their doorstep. And nothing has been said. I will say this again. The same week that we watched Sonia Massey get shot in the face after telling an officer that she rebukes him in the name of Jesus, he shot her in the face. We saw that on video. Kamala Harris announced her presidency shortly after that. Her candidacy, anyway. How many more bodies, how many more names, how many more families have to be ruined by police brutality before y'all actually take that shit seriously and push Kamala Harris on something? As much as I would like to go on and on, I'm going to read the demands of the family. The family demands that MPD release all unredacted footage of this state-sponsored execution. They're also asking that they release all the names of the officers involved in this state-sponsored execution. They're asking that the 911 call that was made prior to this event be released as well. They're asking that all the officers that were involved be fired and prosecuted. And lastly, Justin Robinson was a violence interrupter in D.C. He was somebody who went and actively de-escalated situations where people could have died. He was closely connected to his community, and he cared very deeply about gun violence in D.C. So the family also asked on Friday at the vigil that there be a ceasefire in D.C., that there be a complete and total ceasefire in D.C. in honor of Justin Robinson. Justice for Justin Robinson. And fuck the police.
Yeah. What's up, guys? Welcome to this latest episode of the Good Faith Show. I'm your host, Andre Morton, and we have a special guest today. We call him SMURF. What's up, SMURF?
Happy to be here. Glad to you guys have me on. I've been wanting to say this for a long time. I'm glad to be on. Thank you, Andre.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. Yeah. I promise you, Monday that I'm gonna have you back on. You say you had a lot of topics to talk about. I can't wait, to talk about it with you.
All right.
So, we just seen that video by the fabulous Afeni, man. Just more police brutality. Just give me your thoughts on the video.
I love Ofini. She has such a voice. She's just nonstop, a ball of energy and sometimes rage, but like she's like such energy. But then back in DC, the militarization of the police has been like so wild, and like I guess they feel like they have the right to just do whatever they want. They have such powers that and you saw me shake my head when they asked for accountability from the cops, because I wonder how far they can go with that. I'm really hoping that they carry it all the way through, but it's such a heartbreak again to hear about these stories.
Man. Just it happens every day in America, man.
I don't know about all the details. So, what do you know about the shooting? So they asked, he was in his car and they just opened fire.
Oh, he was in a car accident, in Midtown DC, and apparently, instead of the police asking for aid, they just start shooting at his car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in Canada. Normally, some people ask, like, why would they do that? Because they think they must have had a reason. But in DC, with the militarization, I don't know that there's a why. Like, they may just be trigger happy.
They trigger happy. Yeah. Yeah, the
So that,
police,
you know, it's not even an issue of police. It's not even an issue of like militarization. It's just like how crazy the police is now.
yeah, yeah. And also, don't forget too, the police trained by the IDF. So
Especially
yeah,
the DC guys. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, man. Just it like it happens so much in America, Smurf, that like everybody like you just become numb to it, and it's sad because you know sometimes you ask when will it end? uh,
It didn't end. There was George Floyd, and then it didn't
yeah,
end. Like, you
yeah,
just kept hearing about like what another incident. It's not an incident. It's a wave. It's a
yeah. It's murder. Yeah,
But the
yeah.
racism never went away. The slavery never went away.
True.
The abuse, the colonization, it just changed shapes and owners, but sometimes not even.
Yeah. In America, you got the 13th Amendment. Um, it don't even say abolish slavery. Slavery is still relevant in America, right?
Yeah, if you're poor, you're gonna go in jail and you're gonna work.
Yep. Yeah.
If you're
Yeah. Yeah.
poor and homeless, you're gonna go in jail, private jail, and you're gonna work for profit,
Yeah.
somebody else's profit. What
Yep.
difference is there? You've
Yeah.
been captured by the law. You didn't get captured by a slaver, but you got captured by the law, which is like the same.
Yeah. And the police, the police, the original formation of the police was to catch slaves back in the day. So there you go. Yeah. Well.
So
Okay, you go ahead.
last time you said Rome was talking about militias.
Mm-hmm.
So what would happen if? No, I'm just throwing stuff on the wall there. But what would happen if, like, people had their militias and there was no police? But you'd still have to have like psychologists, social workers, and sometimes you need somebody with a taser. Just so, like, how do you see the post police world?
Like you said, yeah, I see it as community policing. Um, yeah, more psychologists instead of if somebody that's having a psychotic break, having an event, in public instead of police shooting them, you bring a psychologist to them to talk them down and calm them down. And same with like a domestic dispute, you bring, let's say, somebody from social services or somebody like that to de-escalate or take action. So yeah.
Do you know of many bad situations that got better when somebody showed up with a gun?
Nope. You talking
Yeah,
about police wise? You talking police wise or?
any situation. If things are going bad and people pick guns up, like it's not gonna get better
Oh no, no.
unless there's like the movie like Stand Down, and but it never happens.
No. Yeah. TV, man. Yeah, TV. Well, the role of Hollywood in America, obviously, is just to pretend like the police is
Oh
helpful, but
yeah,
in all actuality, they're not. They don't, like you see on the TV shows. They find all the crime and stop all the bad guys. Man, that's some.
If you're really gonna hang on to your 7-year-old self, like you see no evil in being like a representative of the law. Like you have a gun and you're good. You're a good guy. You can't do no wrong. But it's
Yeah,
like a child's view of the world, right? And some
yeah,
policemen are not that stupid. They see their role, and they're the first ones to be corrupted because they know that even if they do good work, tomorrow there's more work. Even if they
yeah.
arrest one, tomorrow there's two to arrest. So they become
Yes,
jaded.
yeah. Once you part of that clan, the police, no matter if you good or not, you still the problem. Like my mama, for example, she always tell me, not all cops are bad. No, all of them are bad because you part of a force that that tried to that kills unarmed black people. So yeah, yeah. What you say?
That's like taking responsibility for your tribe, your whole tribe, everybody in the
Yeah,
tribe.
yeah.
And like
Responsibility.
imagine the Russians saying, "Oh, the Canadians are authorizing missiles to shoot on Moscow." So
Right.
the Canadians are bad from their point of view. But I'm not bad. I didn't want that, but I kind of allow it by paying taxes, by not protesting, by not standing up and blocking them shipments and blocking the army and blocking a bridge. If I'm not doing that and I'm not taking control of my tribe in my way, or I'm not trying, I'm like half guilty. So I think it goes for every if you got to take responsibility for
True.
your tribe,
Yeah.
but nowadays the tribes are so huge, and then the tribe is doing things in my name behind my back. So how can I take responsibility for that? I don't even know.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, now, like when Sonia Massey got murdered, you seen cops on TikTok talking about it, saying that cops should be held accountable. But where were y'all during the George Floyd situation? Like, I didn't see videos of y'all um, saying the same rhetoric you saying to that cop that killed Sonia Massey. So I'm just saying, like, you
Oh, but
know,
the rhetoric they have plenty of boxes of. They're a talking shop. You can come in the shop and buy a nice rhetoric and but do nothing.
mm-hmm. True. That's true.
Even if they have nice words, like we've heard thoughts and prayers, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, yeah, the mass shooting in Georgia. Yeah, thoughts and prayers, Yeah, but another mass shooting happened a few days later. So, yeah,
Somebody
you're
wrote
right.
today, like, thoughts and prayers equals to, okay, I'll write to Santa for you.
Yeah,
Wishful thinking. It's dangerous.
yeah, um, yeah. Um, um, my thing is about that. You talking about guns. I don't mind people having guns. I'm not. I'm pro Second Amendment. It's just the problem is that a lot of people is not well up here, and those the ones that usually go into schools and malls and shit and murder motherfuckers. So yeah, I just saying, we need thorough background checks and stuff like that, which the government don't want to do because they're in the hands of the NRA. So yeah, that's why I said about that.
The situation in Canada is like so the opposite. Like,
I
there's so
know.
many background checks. There's so much, and we don't have that many gun deaths, but it's rising.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's been a lot in Toronto and Montreal like this year.
Oh,
Yeah.
the big cities. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Here, here,
Gun control is a nice thing, but then again, the population has to have its militia. British
yeah,
system really hates peasants having weapons.
yeah. They hate black people having weapons too. I noticed that.
Yeah,
You know.
no,
Yeah.
the
See.
police can have the violence, but they have to have a monopoly on violence.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
British system. The army, the police, they can do violence, whatever. But the people
Mm.
got to bow down, and no swords, no nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. They
And in
want
the
us.
US, they kick the British good and tight. So like now they know how to resist a British sort of system, royalty, kingdoms. The U.S. is kind of imperious to that because of the Constitution, but
Yeah.
it got eaten away, and it's even at the root of it, it was a slave system. So it's not
Y-
it's better than British, but it's not that much better.
Yeah. 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 I see what you're saying there. Yeah. Like the Second Amendment, like specifically says under control militia. Well, if all of us, the left, we form a control militia, then we can have weapons, to defend ourselves. See what I'm saying? So when they wrote the Constitution, they didn't realize that at this point.
I made a lot of progress on that idea because I was born a liberal. Let's say when I was in college, early and young, I thought the U.S. were crazy with all those weapons. I didn't understand the purpose of the Second Amendment. I didn't understand the purpose of like the well-regulated militias. But
Yeah,
I've grown on that because see what happens when people are not able to even. It doesn't mean you have to take the gun out, but just that the representative knows that you can take it out. It's a new dynamic.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like like some states like mine, Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, they have like literally no gun restriction. Like you can literally walk in, no background check. You can literally walk in a pawn shop, get a gun. Like you know what I'm
I know
saying?
that's crazy. I was there once in my life, and I walked into a gun shop, and it was a priest,
A
the
free.
guy with the
Oh
priest
Lord.
owning a gun shop,
Oh
and I was like, "What is this? Where am I? Can I take a picture?" He was like, "No, no pictures."
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Only in America, man. You see some
Mm,
crazy
mm.
shit like that. So Smurf,
Yeah, I kind of
um,
like Dixie.
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
special place. It's the culture, just the culture and the history. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a special place. But I'm not a Dixieland like hardcore rebel. No, 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 no. I'm
Oh
a,
no,
the other kind. I'm a northern guy, I guess. But
yeah,
yeah, they did fight for their rights though. Anyways.
yeah. The debate that happened the other day. What? I know you seen some on it or you seen it. What's your thoughts on
It was boring. Um,
uh,
they fact checked Trump, like they had a bunch of AIs doing the work like live, like it was like, no sir, like this is not happening. We have like all the pertinent people answering right now that you're lying. Like it was kind of funny, but
yeah, yeah,
like let's take the nationalism, the militarism, the pro-Israel. Let's take all the bullshit out. Like it's anti-promises.
true. Yeah, yeah. You're right. It was boring. You knew me and Ty Peasant covered it.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I
The
think
only
you guys got a drink when they say certain words, and when I turned it on and I saw you guys were doing it, I was like, oh.
yeah, I was drunk. I was drunk. Man, every time they say China,
Yeah.
what else they
What,
said? I forgot.
yeah. What were your other keywords? I was curious about that. Because China,
Oh,
it was obvious.
damn, I forgot, man. Yeah, it was two more keywords. Yeah, man, I drunk two cans two cans of hard seltzer. Shit,
Yeah,
shit.
I'm glad you went through with it.
Yeah, yeah. I had to like drink something or smoke something to watch that bullshit. Cause like you said, anti promises like Kamala and Trump are both literally the same person. It's just one of them orange, one of them I guess Jamaican and Indian, whatever. I don't know what the fuck she is from whoever she described herself. So yeah, the part where Trump said Mexicans eat cats and dogs. Now that was funny. That had me out my
The internet is
um,
still shaking.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everybody's like posting cats and dogs since like the
Yeah.
debate.
Yeah. That's all I see on TikTok, man. The cat dog song. I'm like, really? Yeah. People love milking this shit.
Yeah, yeah.
mm.
If I close my eyes on like all the implied racism and colonialism on Haiti and all the blindness we have on their condition, I like seeing a lot of pictures of dogs and cats. I'm like that part is cool. The rest is like obnoxious. Like it's just toxic, toxic blindness. I posted today on Haiti, and I tried to like spell out like how how fucking selfish the U.S. must be to think about their dogs and cats.
Yeah.
The Haitian people should invade the U.S. and just if one state was submitted to what Haiti was submitted to for 500 years, I'm fucking sorry, but they'd be more. They wouldn't just eat the cats and dogs. Sorry, they'd eat everybody, and we deserve it. Anyways,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
there's
Like I.
right now
Go,
they're sending Kenyan police to crack down on the gangs, and it's just they found out that sending white Canadian guys to kill Haitians wouldn't didn't work, so they sent darker people from Kenya to do the killing, and it's just cynical. It's just cynical.
it is, man. Yeah. It is, and yeah. Let's let the brown people do the dirty work for us. That's just basically shit they saying. It's kind of like here. Yeah, let's let a black woman drop bombs on innocent Palestinian heads. The same shit.
She's gonna take the flag. She's replaceable. So and when she's gone, it's a new credibility. Like everything's forgotten, new slate.
Mm-hmm.
So if catches too much flag, she's like sacrificial lamb. She's just gonna go and be replaced, and you can do it all over.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true, man. Yeah.
That is cynical too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, you got
On
any
a
more
better note,
topics? So you got some more topics you want to talk to me about?
a million. Shall we go by alphabetical order
Okay.
and
Okay.
start by A, Andre? So
Uh-huh.
tell me about you. I don't know a lot about I know
Okay.
now I know that you're in Louisiana, close to
Lu-
Florida.
Louisiana, Monroe, Louisiana. It's well, we northern Louisiana. Right. Jackson, Mississippi. You heard of it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Right.
was
Right.
I was in Florida, but I was never in Mississippi.
Yeah. Yeah. I live closer to Jackson, Mississippi. Florida about MC shit 500 miles away. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. You know. I want.
Is it still a bit affected by there was a huge natural storm in Louisiana 10, 10, 15 years ago and it never recovered?
Oh, Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Louisiana's still decimated by that. Right, it's some parts of New Orleans. New Orleans was the biggest place that was hit. Monroe, we got. Well, I didn't live in Monroe at the time. Actually, I went to college in Monroe, and I just decided to stay there, which was a big mistake. But hey, I'm planning to move. But anyway, New Orleans, yeah, it was the hardest hit, man. Like so many people died. A lot of people didn't evacuate because usually in the United States, you know, when people hear of a big storm, a lot of people don't take heed to it like they're supposed to. Now the rich people was left mostly poor people, so they
You gotta
stayed
ride it
and
out.
yeah, they tried to ride
Yeah.
it out and
Yeah, because they're
for
used to it, but you never know.
yeah, used to it. Yeah, yeah. Who knew Hurricane Katrina was going like make that big turn because it was supposed to turn back out to where Texas at, but it made a turn to New Orleans. So yeah, a lot of people died, and apparently the reason why New Orleans was flooded because of the levees. The levees wasn't up to date. Cause our infrastructure is shit in the United States. So levees fell, and a big lawsuit over that too. And shit. Now you go to New Orleans, like downtown, Bill Street, that district, like all that's built now. It's nice, but you go to like Ninth Ward and I forgot the other part. It's still raggedy, man. Still houses still abandoned. Like it's like a war zone in the United
Yeah,
States.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy that you have such a disparity in like you know resources between states and or help and or revitalization. You can't live like that. You
I
know.
know.
Yeah.
I know.
I just went to one part of my country that's a bit like under the weather, and it was a harsh slap in the face. Like poverty is. I live in a remote area, so I don't see it. But poverty, homelessness, poor unhoused, you could say the opioid crisis. Yeah, there's a bit of that going on, and it's pretty new. It's like people are. We saw it going on in the U.S. for 10 years, and we thought, oh, it's the U.S. It's
Yeah.
so crazy in the U.S., but now we see it in Canada everywhere.
So it's like when like when shit happens in the United States, it happens here first, and then it goes to Canada. That's
In
crazy.
Yeah, but in a different way than
Yeah, different.
Mexico, though. We don't have cartels the same way that Mexico does, but of course, like everything the U.S. does has ripples around the world.
It does. Yeah, man. Louisiana is still like even parts like even northern Louisiana for Hurricane Katrina, like trees are slumped from the wind was so hard, the windshield, like they slumped like that. If you just drive through, yeah, still haven't recovered, but hey, it's sad reality.
Same with Haiti. Then
Yeah,
Haiti
yeah,
never recovered. From the four hurricanes there were, um, and so you're saying Louisiana was hit, New Orleans was hit. Um,
mm-hmm.
Anyways, no, we can't do the whole 50 states. The situation in the states is becoming dire. Like
Yeah,
even if you just take the social factors, it's bad. But then you add the economy, perhaps. You have the global warming, but let's just say the crazy weather.
yeah,
Um, and the war, the damn war. They really want
mm,
to get into that war with Russia or China or somebody. Make the factories spin and like get the U.S. back on top. But
yeah, yeah. The war. They want to get into war with Iran too.
oh,
Trump pull
Iran
out.
too, of course, and they have
Yeah,
their fingers in every war. Like
yeah, yeah. Like most of the wars that we shouldn't be involved in any of them, but
yeah, they're not even wars.
they
We don't even call them that anymore.
yeah, imperialist. It's about imperialism, colonialism too.
Just
Um,
violence, just violence. Yeah, pure
and,
imperialist violence. Yeah.
and then this is how fucked up the United States is. Now, see, they talk about election interference with Russia, but they interfere in
Don't talk
other.
about APAC.
Yeah, APAC too. Yeah, look, APAC is a foreign agent. It's a foreign agent. Like, it's a shame that they let a foreign agent influence our government. So, if you're against Israel,
They've been
you
at it
fucked.
for so long now that it's like a spider slowly like doing the net, and then once the fly is caught in, there's no getting out. It's
Yeah,
they really did their thing. Like they started by the roots slowly, and then of course the capital behind it. You need
yeah.
that.
The money. Yes, yeah, yeah. It started in the '60s. I think Kennedy warned about it. Kennedy. He warned about APAC back then, which
Yeah,
tells
but
you,
imagine if they could influence the crown of England in the beginning of the century. The Zionist movement is not new.
oh no,
It's like
no,
it's like it's the kind of old fortune like the Rockefellers, and it must be one of those like oh, it's an old organization.
yeah, yeah. You know, like if you against APAC, you basically fucked. Like Corey Bush, Jamal Bowman, they got them the fuck up out of there. AOC, the only reason why her ass is saved is because she did that Zoom call, basically spinning the narrative around. So yeah, then not only APAC influencing our elections, the corporations, like politicians in the United States, they work for the corporations. They don't work for us. So, so
Okay, well, they haven't won because here we are, like talking about them with like clear eyes, like so
yeah,
they tried their best not to have a presence in the limelight. So we don't talk about them and we don't, care about what they do. But now we do. Now, now they know. So they haven't won on every battle, but I think we touched on it on last episode. But how do you go after all those corporations when they jump countries? They're gonna jump ship. They always jump ship. They go somewhere else. It really has to be an international movement. Like,
yeah. You saying an international revolution type movement?
it has to be.
Yeah, I agree. You're right. You're
Because then
right.
all the capital can go to like Switzerland, or capital can go to somewhere else, and the corporations switch their like bank accounts around, and like
Yeah,
even if you do the
offshore.
revolution everywhere, they're probably gonna hide the money in a satellite or something, a bunker. So like you have to like really like think about how you're gonna structure that. Well, the revolution.
Yeah, yeah. You're right. We got to take all that into account. You're right. Yeah. Um. Yeah. They start here, then they might go to Canada, then they might go overseas, to
Wherever laws
France
protect
somewhere.
capital, wherever the laws in place will protect their assets, they're
Yeah.
not going to go to North Korea.
Oh no, no. Or
You know,
Iran.
yeah,
Yeah.
or Venezuela, or someplace where the government will say, well, we think you might have stolen that money off the labor of some people somewhere, so we're going to take it and redistribute it.
Or they ain't going to China either.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
50-50.
China, China,
Okay.
there's some massive wealth fortunes in China that are like
Yeah.
they're off the record in China. So I don't know
Yeah.
how a rich man would go about it, but probably got to be connected with the party or try
Yeah.
to fight the party.
Yeah. Try to convince them. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point right there. So now I'm gonna ask you a question. Like, okay, do money influence politics in Canada?
Of course, we don't have tight laws around party financing. And even if you have tight laws around party financing, a promise of an helicopter trip to Groenland with your wife, you're never gonna write it on paper. They're just gonna find it out 4 years later when they go through your papers. So there's
Oh,
things, there's money, there's ways to buy politicians that are not on paper. So and there's ways to like just scare them, like, and there's ways to like get to politicians without being on paper, being traceable, being actionable on. So of course, I'm pretty sure money is the thing.
wow, wow, really ain't much difference in the United States, but I guess I guess the difference between us, like they do the same shit in the United States, and unless they're high maintenance, well, the high top tier politicians, they might not get caught, but if on the bottom, yeah. So yeah, do you think, Sabby Sav, right?
Yeah.
Um, she always, she's an educator, so she always say, in order for real change to happen, is we got to get money out of politics. And from the United States perspective, do
It,
you
it
ever
was
think
one of
that's
the
happened?
good things that Cenk Uygur used to say. You remember Cenk Uygur, right?
Yeah, the Young Turks. Oh yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
I can't stand him now, but back
Me
then I
either.
used to think, at least he's right on that, and he still is.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And even if you get money out, it's even more than that. In my thinking, and I might be wrong on that, and I didn't really think it through, but if you're gonna go with civil service and make laws or vote laws for us, we're gonna pay you, right? We're gonna pay you a salary and a house, right? If you're a
yeah,
representative.
yeah.
So you don't need a bank account.
Good point.
You can't have a bank account.
Yeah, gotta make
And
demands.
you will never have a bank account.
Yeah,
We will, the people pay for it. So you don't need anything else. So that's,
true.
and if you don't want that, then you don't want public service. Get the fuck out. Go do something else. If you really want to serve the country and make laws for them,
Yeah,
you can't have a bank account, then you're gonna live in the house the people provide.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's true. A lot of these politicians, man, they got houses all over, man. Back in their home state, housing in D.C. They got yachts. Like some like Joe Manchin got a yacht. What the fuck you need a yacht for? You're a public servant, man. And then he owned the
How
coal
many?
industry in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And wasn't he filmed during the protests. He was filmed on his yacht, by some people on jet skis, and he was like
yeah,
living like a pasha, like in his palace, like
yeah. A
servant of the
oligarch.
people. Doesn't look like a servant of the people. Your people are dying, and you're floating away, happy as a you know.
Yeah, the people of West Virginia getting cancer and all that stuff from the coal, and you own the coal industry, and you sitting on your yacht looking like a fucking king. Like fuck that shit. Fuck that. Yeah, yeah. Oh man, it's crazy. That's the the United States, man. It's a fucking clown show.
But it's,
Mm,
it's really hard to get to a point where your representatives are like super transparent about what they own, but there's some Scandinavian countries that do it. You can look at the bank account of a guy every day, like it's live, it's transparent. You can always check how much money they have at any moment. So that's a
oh,
bit of
that.
transparency. But
Mm-hmm.
then again, he can end his political career and go away on an island that was given to him by a pharmaceutical company, but it's not on paper while he's in office. It's later on. Well, you'll find out, but at the moment of the corruption, it's so there.
Yeah.
Even if you have transparency measures, it's hard to establish real representation, justice.
Yeah, yeah. You know, we need that in the United States. We need to look at these politicians' bank account as well. Well, we got a website called Open Secrets where we can see who donates to these politicians, and obviously, like for example, Kamala Harris get $5 million from APAC. Like so, yeah, we need more
It's a
transparency.
start, but they have like 1,000 assets and bank accounts and LLCs, and they go
Yeah,
around. Yeah,
super PACs. Yeah,
yeah. And even if your name is not on something, your family benefits from it, and you make laws to like pass like that it will benefit your assets, even if you're not attached to the asset.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This system is so fucking corrupt. Um, I
Damn,
feel that
we're in a happy mood today, aren't we?
for me.
Like,
Yeah.
it's
I,
corrupt, and then they're like,
yeah, it's corrupt. Yeah, it is. The system is fucking corrupt. But even in Canada, man, that's crazy. Like, one thing different I'll say about Canada from us. At least y'all have a little bit more transparency. Like they hide so much shit from us. So,
there's a lot
you
of
know,
toe touching. It's like half is British, so they're like they have a different like. It's easy to make a scandal, you know. So
Yeah,
there's that bit of transparency that people will be outraged at pretty much anything all the time.
yeah. That how it need to be in the United States. Like these a lot of people that don't really understand politics don't know that their representative is bought by big pharma or fucking military industrial complex. You know they like if you tell them that the outcome you expect is they should be motherfucking outraged. But what they say is, well, that's the way it always been. So what can we do about it?
Yeah, it's hard to not fall into that trap because it's a
Doomism.
downer. The whole situation is a downer, and
It
if you want
is.
to have an enjoyable life, eventually you're gonna learn to like put the situation in a box and like try to live a bit of happiness outside the box. But it's compartmentalization.
Mm-hmm. Facts. Yeah.
Hey,
So
is it all right if I smoke on air?
go ahead, man. You smoke,
Cool.
drink, do whatever you want.
I'm gonna be the
uh,
next Gonzalo Lira.
yeah. So, um, what about this action? You know, Kamala is always a flip flopper. First she says that she's against fracking. Now she's for it. First she said she will negotiate ending a weapons embargo. Now she's not talking about it. You know, like from your perspective, man, like I see this election tied. I think it's gonna be 269 to 269. Like that's my opinion. What is your outcome of this election?
Okay, I've never been asked to like be the oracle of the U.S., but I'll give it a try. Um, I think the people will elect Trump because he represents change. He represents TNT in Washington. Even though
Mm-hmm.
it's all demagoguery, even though
Yeah.
he will fall into the same traps that the establishment lays for him. The
Mm-hmm.
media, the interviews, the cameras, and then the boring state briefings he gets in the morning. He's like, "Oh, I don't want to hear about the boring shit. I don't want to read." But even through the lies, the people know he's like a dog in a bowling alley,
Yeah.
and for that, and they know him now. He's a well known quantity. Like they know him. They know he's gonna be crazy. He can't wait. And even people who hate him, like me and like everybody, we all hate him. But we hope for him to blow up something in DC, at least blow something up. Just one thing, a little thing, blow something up in DC, and we'll vote for him. Kamala is Obama. Kamala is hopey, changey, and you know.
Coconut tree vibes. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I wish she was really like a cold-headed prosecutor, but she's corrupt. I wish she
Mm-hmm.
was really a lefty, a communist, but she'll use that on a rally just to say she's with the left. But it's like the rest of the
Yeah.
world, it's empty.
Yeah. That what she did back in 2019 on the debate stage. She said she's for Medicare for all, and then again she flip flop. She says she's not for getting rid of private insurance, and then she says, then now she says she's not for Medicare for all. So yeah, and then I hate when Republicans call Kamala a radical. Hell, I wish. Oh shit.
Yeah, like a lot of people say, it's not helping anybody.
Yeah, yeah,
It's confusing the hell of uneducated people that are like, is she a communist or is she not? And
yeah,
it's confusing the hell of poor Republicans that are like, what? She's a communist. I don't want to vote for Trump, but if you say she's a communist, I'll vote for Trump. And so
Yeah,
it's not helping anybody.
yeah, because a lot of people think communist is a bad word. So, yeah.
Hating the commies is a religion, and it's
Hmm.
even it's contagious in Canada, and it's contagious everywhere. Where like people just don't take the trouble to read up a bit.
Yeah. Now, Smurf, I got a question to ask you. Just popped in my head. Now, a lot of people said when you have a nationalized healthcare system, the wait times is long as fuck. Now, you live in Canada. How's the wait times? Just tell me. I just want to know.
Well, it varies on the effectiveness of the system. The system used to be effective, and we
Oh,
used to
okay.
have good conditions for the healthcare personnel. But that has changed. So it's true that the wait times have increased, and it's true that the overworked nurse gives a
Oh,
little bit less of a fuck about you now because you're her 500 patient today. She's
damn.
working 4 shifts and she's over. That's how it is. That's how it is now. It
So
can take
base.
yeah, it's gonna take a while for you to see your doctor or your professional.
Okay.
And if you don't have one, it's gonna take a long while. But for emergencies, we have like a fast lane,
Oh,
and
okay.
for the costs, insurance is gonna cover part of it, but
Okay.
not all of it. And we
Oh,
still pay through the eyes and bleed money for the pharmaceutical.
oh yeah. Okay.
Some,
Yeah.
yeah,
Pharmacy.
some people have insurance like you, like the blue card and stuff like that. Some people have that. Some people have different disabilities and old age insurance and stuff. But most people will pay at the drugstore out of their pocket.
Okay. But how much is the prescriptions there? Is it like us $500 for 2 pills or some shit?
Yeah, that's the part where our government pays a part of it, but you'll still pay. So if it's,
Okay.
let's say it's 500 for something that's like needed for your survival, like insulin, government will pay a part of it, if not all. But you still have to pay something. In most cases, you'll have to pay like 10%, 50%, 80%, depending on how vital it is.
Oh, okay. So it depends on your condition. If you really need it, like urgently, you'll pay less. But if it's not that significant, okay. So, damn. What about it? So you said at
So it
first,
would,
y'all.
if it were, if the people in the US were living in Canada, we would save their lives for sure. Like the US system will leave them to die and in death.
Yes. Yeah.
We're not, it's not the same here.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
part of
That's what I'm
part
saying.
of the illusion that the state will take care of you. The fascist state will take care of you if you're fascist.
Yeah. Yeah. So you thinking like over time, different parliaments in Canada, messed with the healthcare system. Reason why, like you said, longer wait times.
Yeah, conservatives really hate
Yeah.
let's say the socialist and communist aspects of Canada. They're
Makes sense.
everything that's subsidized to the people, they will cut, and everything that's subsidizing the private profits, they will increase. So there are Republicans.
Yeah. Same here. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. Anything for the
Like,
people
if you
can
had
afford it.
Obamacare, they cut Obamacare. We have something. We have like let's say unions. They cut the unions, so it's the same.
Same. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. Um, Justin Trudeau. Give me your thoughts on him. Describe him to me? Is he like Obama, or is he like Trump or Biden? To give me a
It's
description of
it's
Justin.
definitely more of an Obama. Yeah,
Somebody
yeah.
said that before.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
establishment. Like he is a
Oh,
creature of the establishment. He's like the prince. His father was prime minister, so of course he's like a prince. His
Oh
father
yeah.
was, and you know there's a his father used the army to prevent Quebec independence or to crack down on Quebec independence.
Wow.
Yeah, and his
Wow.
father was a
Wow.
French-speaking dude, so he would play both sides, and he would like be the best friend of the British and be the best friend of the French Canadians at the same time, while we're wrestling for freedom.
Oh.
So, yeah, and so Justin is the son of that guy, and
Oh. Okay.
so the English Canada loves like it's like a Kennedy, it's like a young Kennedy.
Yeah.
It's the
I
same
see.
sort of like stardom name, well known
Yeah. Legacy.
household.
Yeah. Family legacy. Yeah.
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 And there was he's a creature of the establishment because in 2010-ish or something, before he went into politics, before he went into prime ministership, there was a boxing match between him and a tough senator, and he won against all odds. And then he became prime minister.
That sounds just like Obama. That's crazy.
It's even like Zelensky. Like you see him on TV, you like him on TV. Well, now you can vote for him. How nice is that? Oh, you like? Yeah, you see him on TV and you like him as president. Well, now he can be your real president.
Just basically vibes, basically.
Yeah,
Oh man, that's crazy. That's crazy to think Canada and America have so many similarities. That's
oh, dude, the
ah
same land, it's the
same.
same. The
Yeah,
East Coast is so similar. It's the same land. It's the same culture, the same trucks. So you don't escape Ford.
yeah. The trucker protest. What are your thoughts on that? Like,
I didn't agree at the start of it because it was anti vaccine,
yeah.
and and it was religious. They're right wing kindish, and
Oh,
they come from mostly from sort of a MAGA Canadian area zone, and please don't throw tomatoes because I'm about to redeem myself. Um, now I like them. Now, as whenever they tried to say they were Nazis, my ears like were like what? And whenever they tried to take their bank accounts away on
yeah.
the
Remember that?
basis of being a Nazi, it was like what? And when they blocked the bridge and started making some real troubles in Ottawa, then they used the law and they just dismissed it back of hand. Um, at that moment, I knew I was more with them than against.
Oh, okay. So yeah, yeah. That's how I feel. I feel the same way. Yeah, people call them Nazis and right wingers. I'm like, you know, my thing is, I wouldn't force nobody to take no. I wouldn't force nobody to take any type of medicine. You know, not against their will. Like, you know, yeah, I get
Yeah, I'm
COVID and
big on
stuff
that
like that.
too. They need to go
Yeah,
through their own process.
yeah, yeah, yeah. In the United States, a lot of people lost their jobs because they refused to take the vaccine. And you know, you remember Biden had passed something that said you had to take the vaccine or you won't work, something like that. Yeah,
We've had this, and some of my friends were prevented from taking up new careers because of it, and I still don't know where I stand on everything, but I know I don't stand with the big pharmaceutical. That's for sure.
yeah, same here. Yeah, when it comes to big pharma, yeah, yeah, they need to be. abolished in because like in America we pay for the research of the medicines, then the big pharma comes in and buys the research and then charge us 100 times more. So it's fucked up.
Yeah, it's the same everywhere. What you need is crack down on them and regulate them
Yeah,
to
regulate.
get, and they're gonna say, oh, we're gonna lose investment and we can't make money, so we're gonna go elsewhere. Well, so, and our politicians always feel super at ease with taking their money, and like, because they have such a nice, it's a wolf disguised in sheep. Like, they always look, they want your health, health care, they want your they want to make medicines to heal you and like lessen your pain. But that's, even if that's all true, their
Mm-hmm.
first motive is profit.
Yeah, yeah, profit. Yeah,
So
yeah,
if you're healed, you don't represent profit. If you're sick forever, you're profit.
yeah.
If you're everybody and your children will be defect forever, then you're profit. If you're
Right.
healthy, you're not profit. So they want to heal you, but not forever and not at all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Same here. You know, you when the vaccines came out, we couldn't sue like Pfizer and Moderna if we had a bad reaction
Yeah,
to it. You
yeah.
know,
Most
so,
countries had to sign that shit. Yeah.
yeah, 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 man. Just like you said, tax. Yeah, we need to regulate big pharma. We need to regulate. Hell, we need to regulate
Let's,
big real estate.
let's do a compromise. Regulate half and nationalize the other half.
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, yeah. Anything to improve this fucking system, we in. Um, you know, um, in Canada, how's the housing situation? Is a lot of people homeless, or is more
It's very
affordable?
recent. It's been like snowballing. It's a problem that it was like 10 years ago. You'd say there was a housing crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people not finding homes, but it's just a housing crisis. Now it's a everything crisis. There's the homeless, there's the migrants, and then there's the fact that there's still no homes.
Wow, wow,
So
wow.
now, like you'd always have homeless population in Montreal in the summer. Like all the trippies from Vancouver would come along and do the whole Canada Road with the dog in the springtime, and they'd be homeless in Montreal for the summer, and that's like a long street tradition. But now
Wow.
and we used to see them as like a normal fact of life back in the days, which was a mistake. But we let it slide for 10 years, and now it's out of control. The situation is out of hand. Like, yeah. So, like, how do you start solving the crisis? Because we have 1,000 ONGs and NGOs dealing with the problem, but they make money out of managing the problem. They don't want to. They don't want to like really address the root causes of the problem. Like, what's causing homelessness? What's causing all this? Like, it's capitalism. It's banking, like owning residential areas. Like, it's uh, it's the opioids. There are many factors contributing to it, but they're addressing none of them. They're just making shelters and putting people in jail, and they're still bombing.
Wow.
They're still bombing the countries where those people come from.
Wow. That's insane, man. You know, You obviously know America, right? Yeah, it's been a homeless and a homeless problem forever, but now since the pandemic came, it quadrupled, and now we have enough homes for everybody to have a home, but the problem is when you have big real estate, you
Yeah,
know,
they're captured. The real estate is captured by the bankings and the like the trust funds and the
yeah, yeah, um, yeah. That's why I always advocate for net for housing for all. We need it, we need it, man, because like even in my little town in Monroe, Louisiana, like I always see a homeless person hold up a sign saying they need help. I feel powerless because I could give them some money, but I can't give them a house to live in. So you know, you know,
sometimes I think we should like that's what I've been going through. Like some of them might be harder workers than I am. Like
yeah,
like
yeah,
I should just give like I should just keep like maybe a hammock in my living room and like share my house with like 20 people. Like at least that would make the news. If they stab
yeah,
me and steal me, at least that would make the news. I mean, I'd serve a purpose. But now they're just freezing outside. Canada is harsh in the winter.
yeah. I know. Hey, in the South we get that the Canadian air come here. Man, I don't want to step outside for a couple of days. That shit go right through my motherfucking skin. Shit. Yeah. Oh man, I like Canada. I want to visit there, but I had to visit there in the summertime. Cause
But
shit.
maybe with the warming, there will be no more winter in Montreal.
Yeah,
It's every year is warmer and warmer, and like the glaciers are melting.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. Like in Phoenix, Arizona, it's been over 100 days. It's been 100 degrees. So yeah, yeah. Place become inhabitable now. Like just this is some dystopian shit we living in.
But those are interesting times.
Yeah, yeah. But you'll think though, Smurfs, like y'all live up in like y'all get extreme cold weather, extreme weather. You think at least they have some kind of housing system to keep people in their house, at least when it's cold. Like
That they try, but like again, they're not addressing the root causes, and they're even if people have like tents and like small like homeless camps, they'll destroy
yeah,
the tents and the camps.
just like New
And
York City.
yeah,
Yeah, same
yeah,
shit. That
and
crazy.
the people would cheer it. Like the people that don't understand why we have the homeless, they think it's the homeless fault.
Shit like
And
here. Wow.
and so when they clear the homeless camps, everybody's like, "Woo! Yeah, police! Yeah, prison! Yay!" Like you, it would just take just a pair of eyes to like see the root causes. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like I
same
said,
here.
there's people making money managing the problem, and they lost control, but they're still trying to like make money managing the problem.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, same here. Yeah, yeah. That remind me of the bourgeois. That's that. Same here. The bourgeois people cheering on the police. Ugh, man, I hate Eric Adams because he's the real, like in New York, he's the real perpetrator of that. Like pushing out the homeless people. Like you the motherfucking problem, Eric Adams. Why there are homeless people on the street? So, oh man,
Even
yeah.
San Francisco, man. You remember when Xi
Oh
Jinping from
yeah,
China went to meet with
yeah,
somebody, and they just cleared the homeless out in one day.
yeah. Oh
So
yeah, and
what happened? Like they put him on buses, they put him in jail. Like that's most likely if they're
yeah,
not dead.
yeah. Like when the Super Bowl came to Los Angeles a couple years ago, they cleared out all the homeless encampments around the stadium. Yeah, same shit. Yeah, yeah. I remember that San Francisco thing too. It's crazy.
and the hell they don't resist.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't resist.
Mm-hmm.
Like imagine, it's like their home. It's like whatever they have left, and like even if let's say they give you a tent, Andre, they give you a
Mm-hmm.
tent and they give you one soup per day. Does that feel like how we treat a human? It's like I'll give you a blanket and I'll spit on you, but then you can have a blanket. So hey,
Yeah.
so it's like that's not how we treat humans.
Yeah.
It's how we
Yeah.
manage like beasts. We give them a
Mm-hmm.
blanket and a meal, like some porridge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
even if we did the minimal, it would still not address anything. It would still not be good.
Yeah. That's what Democrats do. Let's curb 50% of child poverty with the child tax credit. Yeah. Like 50%. What about the other 50%? like, they literally run on that shit. It just
Yeah,
drive me fucking crazy.
the famous Republican compromise. Oh, okay, you don't want to be Nazi, but let's say 50% Nazi. Well, the Democrat would be okay. Well, we got to compromise. We work in both sides of the aisle. We can shake hands, make deals, and all get along.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, the reason people ask why do I go off on the Democrats more than Republicans is because Republicans never promised me a motherfucking thing. The Democrats always the motherfuckers that always come to the hoods every fucking 2 to 4 years and make empty promises to black people, and so of course I'm gonna react the way I am now. Like fuck the Democratic Party.
They're the same. I mean, I don't even bother drawing a line between Republicans and Democrats. They're the same
Yes, yeah,
smudge motherfuckers. Yeah,
yeah. I'm
they're
about to
the
get
same.
that.
And drawing a line and seeing them as two teams is a mistake on our part.
Yeah, yeah. I used to be like that too at one time. I used to thought the Democratic Party was the better party, and I thought the
Oh
Republican
yeah,
Party.
oh yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah. I did too. I was watching Stephen Colbert, and I was watching all the good blue guys against Trump. I even believed in Russia Gate for a while. Um,
me too.
we were watching TYT and being like, yeah, drinking the Kool Aid, yeah.
Yeah,
So there's
secular
a bunch of
talk.
them, and they're still going on.
Yeah, yeah. One team is one team in it. That's what I tell people too.
It's the
Uh,
corporation team. They get what they want.
mm-hmm. They get the subsidies. They get the um tax cuts. And we all we get is fucking empty promises and crumbs.
And the interest
And
rates,
yes,
they control. Anyways,
yeah,
it's we shouldn't be surprised.
yeah,
That's how we let it slide like that. And it's been the work of negligence of three, four, 5 generations. We
yeah,
were we were warned going out of World War II. We were warned that we shouldn't let the undue influence of the military-industrial complex take over, and we did.
Eisenhower said that. Yep, the Dwight Eisenhower said the same thing. Yep, he warned us about that. The military industrial complex. Isn't it crazy? Like, Kennedy warned us about APAC. Eisenhower warned us about the military industrial complex, and look at it now, 2024.
What I don't know is how they cooperate. How does APAC cooperate with the military-industrial complex? Because they have similar interests, but not all over the board. So I don't know how well they cooperate, but they must. They must like they have the
They,
contracts. They do the contracts. They pay for the contracts, but it's like one fish paying another fish with food, and it just the money goes bing 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 bing. So you maybe lose track a bit, yeah. But
yeah,
there's a connection, but there's like not everything the military industrial complex benefits APAC. So APAC is a limited part of the money and the whatever bad shit they do at Raytheon and let's
Boeing.
name them: Boeing, Northrop
Uh,
Grumman,
yeah, Grumman.
uh,
Yeah,
yeah, Halliburton.
yeah,
Um, Also the public relations firms that do the dirty work.
Yeah, the ones
Uh,
that give CNN and Fox News the talking points.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
not just them. We get the same talking points on our national TV. The same words, the same
Wow.
wording, the same. I don't know who writes for NATO, but we get the same orders every morning, every country that's like corrupted.
That's crazy. So basically, if I
England, France, Germany,
mm-hmm.
probably Italy, Spain, every NATO country has a NATO PR firm, and
Yeah. Yeah.
they give every morning they give their reports and their orders to the media companies. They say the same thing, and
Yeah.
it's like one author in every so it's got to be NATO or some think tank or something.
Yeah. So basically, if I'm like say if I want to move to Canada, I'm basically gonna get the same propaganda that I get here. That's crazy.
Yeah, because
Um.
we're like an American British colony.
Yeah. 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 I should have figured that. Yeah. That makes sense. Oh man. NATO. Speaking of NATO, that's why Russia and Ukraine at war. All Russia's basically said, Putin basically said, no NATO influence, and give part of Ukraine the Damn, I'm losing my track of thought. You know what I'm talking
Okay,
about?
okay. Imagine Texas has independence,
Yeah.
and then China comes in and says we're gonna place our dual-purpose missiles in Texas that's now independent. How would the U.S. react?
Biden
In
old nuclear codes,
Yeah, like
nukes.
there would be some sort of special military operation, I believe. Maybe not.
True.
Maybe they just throw a concert and maybe Taylor Swift would solve it. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
the
I agree.
likeliness is it will weapons will be answered by weapons.
Yeah.
So
Weapon.
and NATO is not a car salesman; it's a weapon salesman. So when
Mm-hmm.
NATO touches a country, the country goes to garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was an attempt with Georgia. They tried the same in Afghanistan. They tried the same everywhere along the Chinese and Russian borders. They always try and fuck with people. And if they can get an independence movement, they'll get it, and they'll walk in NGOs to defend democracy, but actually to foment action on the streets. And
Yeah.
as soon as the government cracks down, they will support the rebels and they will topple the regime. That's like this. It's, I don't even have the book, but I know the story, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I never had the CIA book that says that's how you do it, but we've seen it so many times that we kind of know how it goes. South America, Southeast Asia, Africa. That's how you do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you
He,
don't have, and if you don't have like a left wing in the streets, they're gonna use the religion extremists. They're gonna use some bunch of dudes that are willing to pick up AKs and do bad shit.
yeah. 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 History always repeats itself. You know. So I don't like Putin. But I get why Putin doing what he did what he did. You know, and obviously we obviously know Ukraine is losing this war, right? Like it's dragging
They never
on
had a
because
chance.
I know, yeah, Ukraine is calling back Ukrainians from other countries, the men to come back and fight. So yeah, yeah,
The,
uh,
the,
uh, uh,
the way they did it is their visas are now expiring and they're not being
mm-hmm.
renewed.
Yeah, yeah, that was going on. Yeah. Hell, if I was a Ukrainian, shit, I ain't coming back. Hell no. Hell, I want to live as long as I can. Hell, fuck that shit. Fighting over NATO territory, man. Fuck that.
That's a good point. That's a good point. What are you gonna do when the Russians come and take over your place? Are you gonna kill Russians, or are you gonna say, "Oh well, a lord replaces another lord. What's my business in it? Like, why should I go and
Facts.
kill somebody for it? Oh,
Yeah.
he's gonna make me switch languages. Okay,
Over
do I want
Crimea.
to live, or do I am I willing to learn a new language to live? Like, those are some easy choices, I feel like. And if the Ukrainians passed a law preventing the Russians to speak their language and to learn their language, they shouldn't be surprised there was a revolt. But at the same time, sometimes I'm thinking like this is all so like subjective. Like, people are like now are willing to pick up guns for nothing at all. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also too, last point, about the Ukraine Russia war. We all know it's a proxy war. Just the United States, can send money to Ukraine to fight the war in Russia, to do the dirty work for the United States. So in NATO, so
well,
uh,
the part is they wanted to. Why are you doing a proxy war? It's to avoid the consequences of a
mm,
war.
right,
You're trying to play with fire, but with a stick. Like, you don't want to put your hand
yeah,
in it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, mm-hmm, yeah,
but the,
um,
the the fire knows now that it's not the stick, it's the hand. The Russians know now that they're not
yeah,
fighting Ukraine, they're fighting NATO. They've killed all the Ukrainians. Now
yeah,
it's Romanians, Polish, English, French, Canadians, Americans, everybody and their mother are now on the battlefield to fight
yeah,
for Ukraine. The Russians fucking know it. They're not fighting Ukraine anymore. They're fighting NATO. So what's the point of like I at this point I thought the weapons industries would be smart and stop it.
yeah. That's what I thought too at first. I
They,
ain't gonna lie to you, but
they made their profit. Like, now it's
yeah,
time to go home. Like, you made a lot of money selling weapons, and they're all dead now. So like, it's time to go.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, speaking of war, the United States celebrated the 23rd anniversary of 9/11. Wow, this gonna be a long topic. Where were you on 9/11?
When my best friend called, well, one of my good friends at the time called me and woke me up because I had college that day, but it was not early in the morning. So he called me and said, "Wake up and open the TV. Something happened." And I watched this in disbelief, but I was already being radicalized in college against the U.S. So I was kind of, this is gonna be a good day.
Oh wow.
I was already more on the side of the Bin Ladens than I was on the side of the Bushes. But but it didn't hit me as something that clear cut back then. Like, it was all like, what is going on?
Me too.
Um,
Me too.
and I, I I did say it was in philosophy, but no, actually, it was in psychology that day. And the psychology class was maintained. They did not cancel it. And the guy said, yeah, the U.S. empire is, they're gonna get what they've been sowing. So, you sow the wind, you reap the storm, or something.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's what he said at that time. But we, as the students, we were celebrating, and we were like, all giddy, like something's going on in the world, and we had interests in geopolitics, so we were all like on that topic. But like, we knew something was gonna happen. We knew that Bush was gonna answer it, and as soon as we knew that, we were like, oh, so they're gonna use that incident to go to war with all the people they wanted to be at war with forever, and they had no excuse for. So now they're gonna just go and do the thing.
Hmm.
So it's like your friend that's always wanted to go to the cinema, but now that he has an excuse, he goes to the cinema. It's not really about the excuse, is it? It's just that you found one, and now you can do what
Yeah,
you wanted.
yeah, yeah. I kind of attacked us, so let's bring on. Yeah. Um, I
But
was
then,
12 years old. Yeah, you go
yeah,
ahead.
it was
No.
it's so it's so nice that it was like close to China, close to Russia, close to Iran, close to Iraq, where all the fuel was, where all the and also the U.S. needed a training ground for their troops. The U.S. needs to be at war all the time, and they need to spend ammunition and do the contracts. So I think it was just a low time in the U.S., and they really needed to open a new can of worms.
Yeah, and remember too, the day before, the Pentagon couldn't
Oh
claim for
yeah, yeah. He lost two
three
trillion. Like,
$2 trillion
well,
dollars.
yeah, yeah. Like, oh, it just fell off my pocket.
Yeah, how the fuck you lose an account of $2 trillion? I just still like maybe $5 or $10, but not 2 trillion. Come
But
on, man.
that was like the beginning of a long series of financial audits that the Pentagon failed.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So they,
yeah,
they probably lose more than 2 trillion all the time. Like,
yeah, yeah. You right. Yeah. I thought about that. Yeah,
and
yeah,
and they hide. Even if we don't lose it, they hide military spending in foreign aid. So, like,
yeah,
let's say Saudi Arabia gets foreign aid, but actually, it's not foreign aid. It's like weapons contracts. So we give you money, but you buy us guns. So it's even more military spending than we show the Pentagon, and even the Pentagon cannot do a report on it. So imagine the quantities like lost money, like.
Oh my god. Yeah, yeah.
And not just that, it's the labor and the resources. You could have done so many things with that. It's just
Mm-hmm.
lost and
Mm-hmm.
pollution and wasted, and it created
Mm-hmm.
chaos.
Yeah, man. You know what they could do with $2 trillion? Like our infrastructure, healthcare, housing,
Dude,
so
the
much
two of
shit.
you, the two of you with the ATP network with a trillion, you could colonize the moon.
Hell yeah, shit. Hey, think about this too. If we had this trillion, you know how many mutual aid like things we can do, like mutual aid.
Like world
Um,
aid.
world aid. Yeah, well, world aid. Go around the world. Shit, man. Um,
Trillion, man. Imagine. You got
yeah,
millions, and then you got 1,000 millions, you got a billion, and then you got 1,000 billions, and you got a trillion. That's a lot of zeros.
hell yeah. Yeah. Um, you know, this poll came out. Polling among black folks says that it was 7% back in 2020 that of black people that support Trump. Now it's 19%. Um, the question I have to you is why you think it's more black people supporting Trump this year?
I think it connects a bit about my opinion of Trump that he promises change, but real like destructive change, but change like.
Mm-hmm.
They've been through the Hopi changey once and twice, and now Kamala
Obama.
and Bernie. The disillusion is real. Like Trump is a good option if you want chaos. And I think they're not stupid. They know that any promises made to the black leader of certain community or another black grown up investor that's willing to talk with Trump, they know that those it's not gonna bear fruit for the black community.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
I,
maybe
I like.
maybe somehow he's gonna uh, managed to help the black community despite his will. But that's the only hope. He may help the black community without wanting to, maybe,
Yeah,
but he
yeah.
certainly doesn't want to. I don't think.
Um, another question I have: do you think that it increased to 19 from 7 is because of the immigration issue?
I don't know. I don't know. I sometimes I wish I could know what's in people's heads, but I can only try and suppose. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
well, Trump has been under legal lawfare for now 10 years, so
Mm-hmm.
or maybe all his life. I don't know. I
Mm.
think people can relate to that, and black people too.
Interesting. Yeah. Oh, okay. You saying Trump got 96 criminal
Under
charges against him,
Yeah,
and
under attack by
black
the
folk.
law nonstop, and the law being
Uh,
weaponized against him. So I think people can feel that.
Trump said that himself. Trump said, yeah, black folks should feel the same way. um,
You're
what?
nailing his voice, though. You really do it.
Yeah, yeah, yes. Smurf, you're right about me. That's why I got the black vote. Got the black vote. I'm gonna get the black vote. And answer two, ready? One vote for me is because of the immigration, those illegal aliens coming over, taking all their black jobs. Oh man, yeah.
You nailed the tone there. It's just it.
Oh man, yeah, man. I need to start doing more Trump impressions on Twitter. I've been kind of a lot being serious lately.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's good to be
yeah,
serious, though. We've been accused of being deeply unserious so many times.
yeah, yeah. I, on, um. Oh, I got one more question too about the immigration thing. A lot of black people feel like immigrants are coming over here. They're getting free housing. Getting all these social safety net programs. But we all know that's not true. But my thing is, how? Well, I obviously know. How will you convince somebody? It's anybody, not just black people. Anybody that's not true. Like they just thinking immigrants coming over here getting a free ride. How you convince them that's not true?
You know, I don't like to use knowledge to convince people, but
Yeah,
hmm.
yeah, I know.
It depends. I don't know what's true or not back then. I wish I could see the border for myself, and I wish I could see it over 30 years, and how the laws have affected it, how foreign intervention in Mexico and in Venezuela and everywhere else has affected it. Because we know that's what's doing the bad, let's say, migrations. It's the destabilization of those countries by certain actors, mainly the US. So the root of the problem is not in the streets or nor at the border, nor in the social safety net.
Yeah.
It would be misguided to attack the social safety net. Whatever you wish would apply to German immigrant, Jewish immigrant, African
Exactly.
immigrant. Any you want to give them a house, you want to give them
Mm-hmm.
um, representation, you want to, but I think there's a lot of like difficult situations where criminals come in and they're being given a certain leeway to like attend or not attend court, and they don't, and the people like freak out, and I think justifiably so. Um, uh, yeah, I don't think we should attack the safety net, but the safety net in the
Mm.
U.S. is like an illusion. It's a blue
Yeah.
pill. It's kind of a blue pill. So go back to sleep. We have housing, but you don't like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but like, okay, the humans are not the problem. That's for sure. The humans in like that are migrating are not the problem. If you're willing to go through the desert in the sun for 3 weeks with your kids and your stuff, you're not the problem.
That's what I've been saying for the longest time. Like they are trying to live. They're trying to survive. And
The
again,
humans,
like
yeah.
yes, and black people just don't understand. Like the United States is the reason why they're coming over here. in the first place. You know what I'm saying? The sanctions, the imperialism, like, instead of asking for the resources, like asking or trading, dog, let's just form coups and let's come over here. Let's just take their shit and fuck up their government. That's what they doing.
I certainly will not put fuel into that idea that they're a problem. There's a lot of like dynamics in play that are a problem, and they're dynamics driven by humans. So I'm not saying like it's just God that's making this happen, and it's we can't do nothing. It's
Yeah.
we got to address the root issues, but dividing the black population is a cynical play again. Like, of course, they're gonna
Yeah.
try and divide people and make the some people making the point that the immigrants are buying into the white American dream and they're whiter than the whites, and I've heard that argument being made, and I don't know what to make of it. I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
Division is certainly not working for us. Like, what's our working conditions? Like we need allies, and it doesn't matter like where they come from. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but okay, we have this problem in Canada that the companies have a labor shortage, and they come out in the street on the TV and they say, "Oh, the people from Canada are lazy. They don't want to do these jobs." So you've heard that. It's the same thing that in the southern states. There's this discourse going up and down, like the white people are lazy or the real Americans are lazy, and we need to take a pack of either penitentiary workers or a pack of subsidized Mexican workers. That's all fine and good, except of this there's slavery going on, except there's abuse going on, because who's oppressing the Mexican back home? So he does a 5,000 kilometer trip to go to work. Like why is there such pressure on him to come and do that? Like, there's no good
Mm-hmm.
going on there in that situation. But of course, he's getting paid well to come here.
Mm-hmm.
In that time, the corporation could have made the choice to raise the salaries, but it wanted to keep the same profit margin. So he decided to shut down and go blame the government for it and blame the Canadians for it. What
That's
he got
crazy.
in return was the government coming and drying his tears with a tissue and saying, "We'll give you some cheap labor." So now they have the cheap labor, and they're not willing to go back on their salary negotiations. So here also they managed to divide the people, the let's say the native Canadians, and let's not talk about the all the natives either, because it's the same. They always try to divide us, and
Mm-hmm.
and there's so much. Let's say there's so much going on in the discourse right now that it's all moving parts in a big puzzle. The
Yeah.
a little revolution, a little red revolution would help.
100%, man. Agreed. Um. Yeah. One last question. What do you like? Obviously, you know why us left American, the American left want a revolution, but in Canada, like, what issues do you guys want hard that you think is worth fighting for, like for a revolution?
Well, we certainly don't want a war with Russia. I think just that is
Same.
worth like cutting the power of the current government. Like why are you drawing us with a war with our neighbor? Because we're neighbors with Russia.
Yeah.
Russia is just on the other side of the pond there.
Sure is.
For
Yeah.
us,
I just
yeah,
realized that.
Yeah, and it's like the same with Alaska. Say, yeah.
Yeah, Alaska. Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Um, and the same with China. Why are we being dragged into a war with China? Why are we putting tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles? Because hey, they're too cheap, and it's unfair competition to our rubber barons of car companies,
Yeah.
and they're too cheap because they're made by communists in a communist system, and they're well made, and so they should be more expensive. And so it's, it's unfair to Ford and all the luxury brands that want to like push
Yeah.
luxury but at an
Tesla.
unaffordable price. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they put tariffs on EVs, and just that, just trying to put us in a really bad spot with China and Russia. They should be cut off. They should be
Mm-hmm.
cut off power because now is the time to get free from U.S. dominance. It was a thing to say, oh, we can't do nothing on the foreign scene, on foreign policy, because we're neighbors of the U.S. and we're dependent and we're codependent and we're allies. And okay, we know that the U.S. is doing bad things, but what can we do? We're stuck next to the U.S. and we have to deal with them. Well, Saudi Arabia now decided it was a good time to stop trading only in U.S. dollars. Turkey is saying now's a good time to like get out of NATO and get into BRICS. So now would be a good time to move away from the U.S. foreign policy on everything,
Yes.
and we're not doing it. So just that is a reason to get lined up to a wall and shot. Um, then there's the Quebec independence and all the provinces independence. I don't want to be a Quebec selfish dude, but we're losing our French and we're losing our rights of management rights, administration powers. We're losing a lot of that, um, including immigration, English and foreign immigration. Um, so just that is a good reason for revolution. So that's four.
Wow, man. Yeah. Yeah. Like we said with the tariffs on China cars. Yeah. They want you to buy Tesla. They want you to buy Ford and Lucid and all those other EVs. But yeah, yeah. One last question. I know I said that was the last question, but are you for open borders like me and Tyre Peasant? We believe that open all the motherfucking borders up. Why we gotta be separate from each other? Like I should be able to go to Canada. I should be able to go to Mexico. What's your thoughts?
You got to be careful with that topic because there's a lot of our allies that will draw the line, like both literally and figuratively. A lot of people will draw the line there. They don't understand necessarily what you mean by no borders. They don't understand what no countries would mean. Like, what? No countries? That's impossible. Like, yeah, no countries. We just live on Earth with no countries. Like, what? It's impossible. Well, it is kind of impossible because countries have always existed, and they're a form of power
Yeah.
structure that's kind of almost natural to humanity. Like, they'll always gather around power, and it's always been around military power, like physical power, like ballistic power, but it could also be cultural, it could also be linguistic, it can also be so, but lines are not natural structures at all.
Mm,
Like,
yeah.
okay, so how do you remove borders? Like, so
Um.
you gotta make US and Mexico one country, or you gotta make it a transit free zone, or you gotta make it
Yeah. Yeah. The
a
second.
super, if it's a super police state, it can work, but we don't want to have a super police state either.
Oh
Um,
no.
so it's a good question. Like, what will you? I'm against it, but what will we do to like act on like almost being no border, like almost being not a thing?
Yeah.
and everywhere. Because if you do it on a continent, then the ocean becomes a new border. It's
Yeah. Okay.
maybe I'm viewing this in not exactly the like very complex angle, but let's say on a historical perspective, like even if two states have never drawn maps and have never really established officially anything, there's always gonna be a border. And if you and me are sleeping in the same bunk, eventually after a month we're gonna have a border between me and you. It's gonna be like, that's my zone, that's your zone. Dude, you're coming into my zone. Back off, you're in my zone. So like it takes a special kind of accepting and moving around. Like no, there are no borders here. Like, yeah, there are no borders, but you can't put your fingers in my nose. Don't do that, dude. Back off. Like, there's a border here. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting question. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Boundaries and stuff like that. But my thing is that, if I go to Canada, obviously I know it's different rules in the United States. I'll respect those rules, same with Mexico. But I think, once get the kinks out of the way, I think open borders could work, but that's just my opinion. But I get what you're saying. Yeah.
open borders in the world we have today is perhaps an invitation for um, like some people will have a point in showing that open borders don't work.
Yeah.
Like
I
people
see what
in
you're saying.
power will be like, oh, so they want to make a little social experiment and remove borders. And that's not good for me. That's not good for my profits. Or that's not good for my power interests. That's not good for my church. Or that's not good for my power politics or whatever. So it's gonna be easy to like sabotage the open borders movement with
Infiltration.
terrorism. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Infiltration. Yeah, I get it. I get what you're
Yeah,
saying. I get what
we
you're
need
saying.
security. We need just bad guys out there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and there
Okay.
are.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, Smurf. Man, I can't. I really enjoyed this, man. I enjoyed this conversation.
Anytime, man.
Yeah.
Anytime. I'm available.
Yeah. I might invite you once a week. We could talk about different topics.
I'm signing up.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Once a week. Probably be Wednesday ish, and we just talk about news stories and shit like that.
That's a deal, man. If I could shake your hand, I would.
Yes,
This
sir.
is really nice.
Yeah, and also
The
too,
voice of the voiceless.
yeah, voice for the voices, man. I'm trying to get your profile up so you get more followers too. I need to start shouting you out like I do other folks. So, um,
I'm not twisting arms.
okay. And also too, I'm planning to do vice presidential debate coverage like I did the presidential. I'm gonna invite you along with Ty Peasant, so all three of us can react.
In the house. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna invite you, me, you, and Ty Peasant, man. Be clowning them idiots, JD Vance and Tim Walls, like. So, I can't wait, man.
Yeah, can't wait either. That's very nice.
Okay, all right, Smurf. See you next week, man.
Yeah, just a reminder, do the revolution.
Yes, sir. Oh yeah, I'm all for it, man. Peace. uh, okay, guys. So that's Smurf. He's gonna be on the Good Faith Show once a week, and I'm gonna call it 1-on-1 with Smurf. Um, so be sure to tune into that. And I got one more news story for y'all. It's about AOC. Clap back again at Jill Stein. So give me a minute. I'm finna pull it up. My bad about that, guys. I tried to find it on YouTube yet, but I found something else. Let me share my screen here. Um, Let's share my screen. Jill Stein made another video coming at AOC, but on the next episode of the Good Faith Show, I'm gonna find that clip. This says AOC, let's drop the DNC talking points and have a real debate. I'd love to see a real debate between Jill Stein and AOC. Like, that'll be fucking based. I'm finna play a little bit of this. I'm not gonna play the whole thing. I'm trying to keep this under 2 hours. So, here we go.
I don't know if you noticed, but there was a huge surge of interest in that conversation that AOC Pelosi started about growing Green Party power. And we've only scraped the surface of what really needs to be clarified here. So I want to suggest, actually, how about we continue this in person? I'm sure there are lots of independent journalists out there. Many actually covered this conversation so far. And I'm sure we could continue this live, which would actually be a whole lot more interesting and I think instructive all around.
Now that'd be dope as fuck though. I ain't gonna lie. AOC Pelosi versus Jill Stein, a real leader, the one that actually goes to the pro-Palestine protests. You know, don't virtue signal on Instagram to her followers from AOC. I believe in no violence, but Jill Stein actually wants real change. While AOC Pelosi just saves her ass from AIPAC by deflecting shit. So on a Zoom call. So yeah. But we all know AOC won't do that. No, it's not in the DNC's best interest. You know, they just wanted AOC to smear Jill Stein because Jill Stein is gaining momentum among Muslim voters. That's why she did that.
So think about that. Get back to me. In the meantime, I want to clarify several points of misinformation in your video. First, running as a third party. It really doesn't matter whether your party is third, fourth, fifth, or sixth. The question is whether you are an independent alternative, independent of this big money machine that's bought and paid for by corporations and billionaires. Because what good does it do if you're part of the same system and you just have a different name for your party? So from that perspective, I want to say that with the
one thing about AOC too is she supports the DSA and the Working People Families Party, but aren't those fucking parties a part of the Democratic? So they Democrat light. So you're not a part of no third party. AOC, DSA, and Working Families Party is not third parties. The Green Party, the PSL Party, the Libertarian Party, if you put them in there too, they are actually third parties. You know, that's why they exist, because in the United States, we're supposed to have more than fucking two choices. But actually, you know, both Democrat and Republican, which is one party, you know, made sure, especially state by state, to keep or to limit the fucking third party movement. So, yeah.
all due respect, the party that you say you have run with, the Working Families Party, and no shade against them, but they are not exactly an independent third party. They're basically a second ballot line for Democrats. The Working Families, as far as I know, basically run Democrats or independents on their way to becoming Democrats, like former Governor Cuomo of New York State. He ran several times on the Working Families Party while running also on the Democratic Party ballot line. So not exactly an independent alternative. And what's most important is that when you're running in the Working Families Party, you are not under attack by the anti-Democratic Party with their army of lawyers to throw you off the ballot, their paid infiltrators and spies, their hijacking of public funding. You're not in the universe of independent political alternatives. So you are not the yardstick against which to measure green growth. For that, you really have to compare us to other non-corporate parties, which are not bought and paid for. And if you look at those parties, Greens are actually a huge pillar of strength.
Yeah, the Green Party has over 40 states on the ballot. Give credit to the PSL Party too; they're growing too. But you know, every third party, because of the way they got this system designed, is basically holding back third parties. They don't want a third party; they want two parties, which is in one, you know, abstract. So Jill Stein, she's been based here. And continue.
Non-corporate parties are generally over and done with within 1 or 2 election cycles after being founded. Like a good example is the Peace and Freedom Party, very similar to the Greens. They were founded before us, actually in the 1960s. They were an anti-Vietnam War party. And they had up to 14 ballot lines across the country. And those ballot lines basically were gone within 1 or 2 election cycles. Peace and Freedom Party was beaten back to just one state, California. Greens have managed to hang on to, right now, we'll be on the ballot pretty much across the whole country in this election, and that's what we continue to do and have done now for several decades. Or look at the socialist parties. They were doing great at all levels of government, and they were doing really powerful things and very much, leading the charge for a progressive, people-powered agenda. And then Democrats and Republicans changed the rules of ballot access to shut them out. These small non-corporate parties are very much at a huge disadvantage, and they're under attack. The Labor Party as well, which was founded at the time of the Greens with far more
Yeah. Also the PSL party too, Claudia de la Cruz. I talked about that in my last episode of the Good Faith Show. Georgia Republicans side with the Democrat, the Republican judge side with the Democratic Party to get Claudia de la Cruz off the ballot in Georgia. So yeah, all these third parties is at a major disadvantage. Minor. The major third parties, the Green Party, but other minor ones, the one she said, they're a major disadvantage. Especially the Green Party got, they reached 5%, which if you reach 5% in an election, you have access to federal funding. But the Treasury Department basically told the Greens, no, we ain't gonna get it to you right now. You gotta wait a minute. So, and then New York changed the rules, which makes it impossible for the Greens or any other third party candidate to get on the fucking ballot. So yeah, that's why, I'm gonna let her finish. I'm almost running out of time here, but that's why I think at this point, as much I love third parties and independent candidates, I think revolution is the only solution at this point. That's just me, but I'm finna let her finish. She's almost done.
Institutional and financial support, but they could never get past the spoiler smear campaigning and fear campaigning, and they never actually ran candidates. So they were basically dissolved within a decade. The last thing I want to point to is that Greens don't disappear between presidential elections. We are going.
Now, Greens run ballots across all different forms of government: school councils, school ballots, mayors, local state senators, governors. They do all kinds of stuff, and obviously, obviously AOC knew that. AOC knows that. She just plain stupid.
Strong. What disappears is the press coverage. Don't mistake that, actually, for what we're doing. We are a grassroots party, and we're grassroots activists, and it's absolutely false that we go away. It's also false that we simply focus on the presidential race. In fact, we have elected some 1,500, and we currently have 150 active office holders who've been elected and are actually reelected at pretty high rates. That includes, for example, a city councilor in Portland, Maine, where, not coincidentally, that city council just passed a divestment resolution divesting from the genocide being conducted by Israel with the support of this country. For my part, I have certainly been helping candidates in local and congressional and Senate races. I went to the mat for years as part of Doctors for Assange to help fight for Assange's freedom. And, kudos to everybody who worked on that. I've been fighting to protect public funding, in order to break the stranglehold of corporate money on our elections, fighting for ranked choice voting, which would put an end, it would make impossible spoiled elections. But the Democrats are not interested in doing that. They want to have...
Yes, ranked choice voting. Like, I should, I'd be able to vote for Jill Stein and Claudia de la Cruz and whoever else that's running third party or whatever. That way it won't be a spoiler effect. So if, Jill Stein will win, then Claudia de la Cruz. See, how that works, but the Democratic Party don't want that. They don't want that.
Have the spoiler fear in order to, extort your vote. We need ranked choice voting so we can actually vote for who we want and not against, the candidate that we hate the most. That leaves us entirely without a moral compass to direct our vision forward. I've been fighting for Medicare for all, for a real emergency Green New Deal, for rent control, and for so-called social housing. And what have you been fighting for, AOC?
AOC has been fighting for a committee seat. That's the only thing she's been fighting for. And you remember the squad said they do back behind the scene, backyard back. They do deals behind the cover and shit like that. That right there should have told me then from the jump that they weren't serious about costing a ruckus to the Democratic Party. Like, yeah. So AOC, only thing she's fighting for is fucking committee seats and magazine covers. So just and she has the audacity to lie on this woman's name right here. Jill Stein, she puts in the work, she does the work, she don't bullshit. She tell you how it is, and she walks the walk. She just don't talk, she walks the walk.
Used to hear about some of those issues when you started off, but sure haven't heard you much lately. All right, I hope we can continue this conversation. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Man, Jill Stein way nicer than me. See, Jill Stein is the standard of how you should react to somebody lying on your name and slandering your organization. Now, the Green Party, I have my issues with the Green Party as a whole. As a whole. No, Jill Stein is fine. It's just the Green Party as a whole. But at the end of the day, if you still believe in voting, my thing is that you should be able to vote. It should be alternatives to the duopoly. So, yeah, y'all, I'm about to end it here. I got stuff to do. Shameless plugs. Subscribe to my podcast, Real Recognize Real. Available on all platforms. And, follow the ATP Network on Twitter at ATP Network 247. And y'all know my good friend. She's a good friend of the show. Tired Peasant. Donate to her Cash App at Liz4285. And if you watch it at this far, you good, because I had SMURF on here, so I should get more. So people should watch it longer, because SMURF is very interesting. Like the video. It just only take a second. Like the video. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Good Faith Show. SMURF will be a regular guest on here once a week, hopefully. Depends, but and fight the good fight, and thank you for watching the ATP Network.